आ जाओ.
Thank you.
You feel comfortable?
Yes, sir, I do.
When is your final interview?
Sir,
Otherwise,
18th November.
18th. So you have got plenty of time. What is your date of birth?
Sir, 23rd November 1995.
23rd,
November 1995.
1995.
Yes, sir.
So we are 4 people. Joint interview karenge. You can speak for yourself. Tell us something about yourself, please.
Okay, sir, I will start off with my introduction. So as you already know my name is lzza. I would shortly define myself as a responsible daughter, a thorough professional, and a compassionate human. Regarding my birthplace, I was born in Rawalpindi and I was born and bred here. After completing my intermediate exam in 2012 by securing 6th position overall in federal board, I started my engineering from NAST. I completed my engineering in 2016, and immediately after that, I appeared for CSS. I cleared my CSS in 2017 and joined the office management group. I was the youngest person in my batch and the first one in my family. In 2019, I got my first posting in Industries and Production Division as section officer responsible for medium enterprises development. Other than my professional services, I like to travel and I like to hike specifically, which is more like a therapy. That's all about myself.
So you were working in the Ministry of Industries.
Yes, sir.
So what was your score in your last competitive examination?
Sir, my written score was 605.
605?
Yes, and my interview score was 192.
192?
Yes, sir.
So are you current with the current affairs?
I hope so.
What is the latest? Why the Saudis has given $3 billion yesterday?
Sir, I believe that Pakistan was talking with the IMF for retrenchment fund of the latest loan that we took. It was $6 billion, but we were not getting it, and there were negotiations going on. So Saudi Arab has helped us out in this difficult time and given us $3 billion.
Why they are so generous?
Sir, I believe that we have good relations with the Saudis, and we have helped them out previously, and also because we import.
Where we have helped?
Sir, we have previously taken imports from them regarding energy resources. So they have their national interest in this as well, because a lot of their import of oil and gas comes from Pakistan. So I believe that in that sense they have seen it as a mutual interest.
What is the update of IMF?
Sir, the update of IMF, I believe, is that we were negotiating for the release of $3 billion, which we haven't got yet, because IMF, there are certain conditions of IMF which they are wary about. They want us to increase our tax to GDP ratio. They want to increase energy and gas tariffs. And there are other conditions as well, which they think that we should be fulfilling.
Where is your finance minister, advisor now, Mr. Shaukat Tareen? He is here or he is in Washington?
Sir, I think that yes, he has gone to Washington for negotiating with the IMF.
He's back or not?
No, sir, I don't think that he's back.
The Prime Minister is back or still he is in Saudi Arabia?
No, sir, he's back.
He's back.
Yes, sir.
You have done your electronics.
Yes, sir.
And nowadays social media is very popular. What do you think? What are its fallout for the society, positive and negative? Both you explain.
Sir, for the positive side, I think that social media has provided people to exercise their freedom of speech, first of all. Secondly, it has given people the right to speak about the negatives in the society. For example, we saw in 2020 the case regarding Black Lives Matter, in which George Floyd was killed, I believe, and then there was a huge debate on social media, and action was taken because of it. However, there are negatives of social media as well. The first negative is that due to excessive use of social media, there comes this hate speech kind of thing, hate speech and that extremism, because people have a platform where they can express themselves very openly and without any restraints. So there is this thing of hate speech. For example, we have seen the recent sit-ins of the banned organization, which did some protests in past as well. So I think that in that term, social media generates a lot of hate speech. Secondly, due to lack of awareness and lack of regulations, the use of social media becomes toxic for people. And thirdly, because of social media, the right of privacy of people has reduced to some extent. In the past, we saw the case in the US of Facebook's founder Mark Zuckerberg, where it was alleged, and the case was tried in Senate of the US, I think, as well, that some of the data of the Facebook was used based on artificial intelligence, and it was used against the right to privacy of people. So I think that there are both negatives and positives, but we need to come up with prudential regulations to regulate the use of social media and create awareness among people to use it in the right way.
How do you see the role of artificial intelligence in industries?
Sir, I think that the future belongs to artificial intelligence, starting from the machinery point of view. In artificial intelligence has a huge role to play. Machinery nowadays has become very advanced, and the role of artificial intelligence in manufacturing machineries and other things is increasing. Other than that, industrial policies can be made in such a way that using artificial intelligence, projections can be made as to which suggestion or which policy intervention would have how much impact. So I think that from industrial point of view, artificial intelligence has a lot of role to play in the future.
If you are the advisor to the Prime Minister of Pakistan, and the current political scenario, current economic scenario, what you will advise him?
Sir, I would advise him to first of all come up with policies which are such that our trade deficit is reduced. That is, we need to up our exports and lower down our imports. Our trade deficit is currently at around $30 billion, which is huge. And that is because our export sector is very narrow and import sector is huge. So for the long-term perspective, I would suggest that the trade deficit should be removed in such a way that imports are lowered and export base is made diverse. Secondly, as a short-term measure, I would suggest to keeping in mind the current economic situation, I would suggest to control inflation by providing subsidies to the poor class and keeping a monitoring and evaluation mechanism of those subsidies so that we know that those subsidies are actually provided to the people who deserve them.
What are your views about the private, energy sector, especially WAPDA? Because they are the supplier of electricity. Do you think they are functioning well?
Sir, I do not know much about this topic, but I do know this, that there are a lot of transmission losses because of that. And secondly, there are a lot of people distribution losses, yes. And secondly, there is electricity theft, which goes uncontrolled. No regulatory authority controls it. And thirdly, a lot of people do not pay their bills, and there is no mechanism to check them. So I believe that these are some of the issues that
would you like to recommend to the Prime Minister to privatize it, and why they are not doing it?
Sir, I think that first of all, there is this lack of funds where
the privatize karne mein kya hai? Just give it to somebody who wants to run it.
But I think that there should be some government regulation in that, and I think that even with this model, with government being in control, we can revive WAPDA, but there should be some structural changes, including increasing the monitoring and evaluation mechanism. And because we have laws, we have the correct laws, but the means of implementing those laws is not present. So I think that government should be such that the mechanism of monitoring and looking if electricity theft is being committed or not, or if people are paying the bills or not, should be made more prudent.
Thank you.
PAS is your first choice.
Yes, sir.
So, as a PAS officer, what functions do you think you will have to perform?
Sir, very shortly, if I'm inducted as a BS17 officer, as an AC, I would be the representative of provincial government for the local people. Broadly, I would be performing functions like controlling the price, controlling the social sector, regulating it, and supervising the local government departments, whether they are working or not. And there is also a role related to that land revenue related things.
What is Patwari culture?
Sir, I am not able to I would not be able to give a very good opinion on that, because I'm that